What if I told you that most people who automate are actually wasting their time? Yes, you heard that right. They spend hours setting up tiny bots to save 3 minutes a day, thinking they're being productive. But in reality, they're just bailing water out of a sinking ship. They're focused on the wrong things. The real secret to scaling up without burning out isn't found in those little tricks. It lies in a systemic approach, a much deeper understanding of what automation truly is. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the 7 levels of advanced automation that separate amateurs from true system architects. We'll move from simple tasks to entire ecosystems that work for you, even when you're asleep. Today, we're going to debunk a myth. Automation isn't a gadget. It's a philosophy. I'm going to tell you a story, inspired by real events, about a project that nearly buckled under its own weight before finding the key. Through this narrative, we'll explore 7 chapters together, 7 stages of complexity for building systems that don't just function, but grow with you. Get ready to change the way you see things. Chapter 1: The Small Task Myth. At first, like everyone else, the Nexus project team, a collaborative digital creation project, thought they were doing it right. They used simple tools to automate email notifications, new comment posted, task assigned. It was better than nothing, but it was an illusion of control. The volume of notifications grew so immense that no one read them anymore. They were automating noise. The fundamental problem wasn't the notification, but the workflow itself. They spent their time optimizing minor details, polishing the brass on a sinking Titanic. This is the first trap, believing that automation is for saving clicks. No. Advanced automation is for eliminating entire processes. The team had to make a difficult choice: stop tinkering and rethink the foundation. That's where everything began. They understood that to scale, they didn't need to go faster, they needed to build a different road. And that road starts with much smarter logic. Chapter 2: Conditional Automation, the Brain of Your System. Nexus' first real change was the introduction of intelligence. Gone were notifications sent to everyone. They implemented rules, logic. This is conditional automation. If a contributor has the tag graphic designer and the task is of type visual creation, then assign the task to them and notify them. Else, place it in the general queue. It seems simple, but it's a revolution. The system no longer just blindly executes, it makes basic decisions. It sorts, filters, and directs. The team used tools like Zapier or Make, but with a new depth. Each automation had multiple paths, conditions that adapted to the context. The team's mental workload dropped drastically. They no longer had to be the human sorting center of the project. The system became their first assistant, an assistant that never made a mistake. But that was just the beginning. For this logic to work, the different tools needed to communicate in real time, without intermediaries. Chapter 3: Webhooks, the Secret Language of Applications. Imagine every application you use could broadcast information as soon as an event occurs. That's a webhook. It's an instant signal, an alert that one system sends to another. For Nexus, this was the next breakthrough. When a new file was dropped into their shared folder, the storage service immediately sent a webhook to their project management tool. This tool then automatically created a new file verification task and assigned it according to the conditional rules we discussed earlier. No more waiting 5 or 15 minutes for a tool to check for new activity. Information traveled at the speed of light. A contributor finished an illustration? The design application sent a webhook that updated the status on the dashboard, which in turn sent a message to the team's discussion channel. Everything was fluid, instantaneous. Webhooks are the nervous system of your automation. They transform a series of slow actions into an immediate chain reaction. But even this had its limits. Webhooks are one-way communication. To truly scale, a conversation was needed. Chapter 4: The API, the Backbone of Integration. The API, or Application Programming Interface, is the next level. It's no longer just a shout, it's a dialogue. With APIs, applications can not only send information but also request, modify, and delete it. This is the backbone that allows you to build tailor-made custom tools. The Nexus team reached a major milestone here. They developed a small internal dashboard. This dashboard wasn't just a simple web page. It connected via API to all their applications, file storage, task management, calendar, communication. In one place, they could see overall progress, the number of contributions per person, bottlenecks, and even take action. From their dashboard, they could archive a project, validate a stage, or request a revision, and this action was reflected across all connected platforms. They were no longer dependent on the limited functionalities of each application. They had created their own control center, perfectly adapted to their needs. That's the power of the API, regaining control over your data and your actions. And this is where things get truly interesting, because you can start creating complex chain reactions. Chapter 5, Cascade Automation, the Domino Effect. Now that all tools could communicate, the Nexus team was able to build cascades. A single user action triggered a domino effect across the entire ecosystem. Here's a concrete example of their workflow. A creator submits a final version of their work by clicking a single Submit for Validation button. This unique click triggers the following cascade. 1. The file is automatically moved from the In Progress folder to the Awaiting Validation folder. 2. A low-resolution copy is generated and sent to the discussion channel for a quick preview. 3. The task in the project manager changes to validation status and is assigned to the quality manager. 4. An entry is added to a tracking log to keep a record of all submissions. 5. The creator receives an automatic confirmation email. All of this from a single click. The cognitive load is minimized. The user doesn't have to think about all these steps. They do one thing, and the system handles the rest. This is incredibly powerful for reducing errors and ensuring perfect consistency. But there's a risk. What happens if a link in the chain breaks? That's where the most advanced level comes in. Chapter 6, Self-Correcting Systems, Anticipating Chaos. This is the holy grail of automation. A system that doesn't just execute, but monitors and repairs itself. We're talking about self-healing systems here. For Nexus, whose project depended on the availability of their servers and the integrity of their data, this was critical. They implemented monitoring scripts. For example, a script checked every minute if their website was online. If the script didn't receive a response, it didn't just send an alert. First, it automatically attempted to restart the web server. If, after a minute, the problem persisted, it switched traffic to a backup server. Only then did it send a notification to the technical team, specifying the actions already taken. Another example, a script checked data consistency between their main database and their backups every night. If it detected an anomaly, it initiated a resynchronization procedure on the affected files and produced an error report. The goal is no longer to react to problems, but to prevent them from having an impact. The system becomes resilient, capable of handling unforeseen events without human intervention. It's a total paradigm shift. Chapter 7, The Zero-Click Philosophy, Scaling Infinitely. Upon reaching this stage, the Nexus team had an epiphany. The ultimate goal wasn't to automate actions, but to design systems where those actions weren't even necessary anymore. This is the zero-click philosophy. The objective is to make processes so fluid and integrated that human intervention becomes the exception. For example, instead of a manual validation process, they integrated automatic image quality analysis tools. If a submitted image didn't meet resolution or format standards, it was automatically rejected with an explanatory message for the contributor, before a human even saw it. New member onboarding was also revamped. Instead of a manual process, a new member fills out a form and the system automatically creates an account for them, assigns a starter project based on their declared skills, and sends them a series of personalized tutorials. The goal is no longer to ask, how can I automate this task, but rather, how can I design this system so that this task never needs to be done manually? This is a proactive, not reactive, approach. This is where the key to scaling infinitely lies, because the system is no longer limited by the time or attention of the humans managing it. In conclusion, what we've seen through these 7 levels is a journey. We start from the misconception of saving time on small tasks and arrive at the construction of intelligent, resilient, and autonomous ecosystems. Scaling isn't about tools, it's about mindset. It begins with conditional logic, connects with webhooks and APIs, orchestrates with cascades, protects itself with self-correcting systems, and culminates in a philosophy where manual intervention is an anomaly. Don't aim to save clicks. Aim to eliminate entire processes. Build systems, not shortcuts. That's where true freedom lies, and the ability to manage increasing complexity without ever feeling overwhelmed. Share this with anyone looking to get. Don't forget to subscribe.